teaching youth how to mentor their replacement. Hey, ScouterStan, let's talk about mentoring replacements. This is a big thing. In fact, mentoring or helping youth to mentor their replacement. That's a critical thing that leaders like us need to do. And this was brought up, this was actually a suggestion from the comment sections here on YouTube. Connor actually asked about it, and this is big. I get a lot of stuff. In fact, I was looking at next season, and most of the subjects we're going to cover next season are suggested here on the channel. So if you have an idea and I haven't covered it, put it in the comments. I don't care where it is, I'll see it, okay? But with that, it is important to remember that things change in every unit. Now, when I first went through training, my basic training as a Cub Master, the very first thing they said, the first thing you need to do is find people who would be able to step up and replace you. This is a critical thing in so many different units. We have to do that. There's things that happen. People get transferred in their jobs. They go, they retire. They move away. There's tons of different reasons that people go in and out of a unit, different leadership positions. This is something that happens all the time. And you need that succession plan. That's actual training. You can go online and actually get trained for the succession plan for your unit. The Scoutmaster needs to have assistant Scoutmasters that can jump in. The committee chair, same thing. The treasurer, same thing. The advancement, it goes on and on. Every position should have a team, assistants. That is super critical. This is also critical for the youth. So many times, this can be devastating for a unit if they don't have leadership that's willing to step up and actually help out. It's one of those things that can be very bad if that's not thought of ahead of time. Now, as an adult leader, you know that a lot of times it's your friends, it's other leaders that are willing to step up and help out. But can they really do the job? There are three big things that needs, I call them the abilities, okay? That's just, they have to have them. These are three big ones. The first one is ability, okay? They have to have the ability to do the job, or at least learn the job. That is huge, to have somebody that has the ability to take on a challenge and really excel. And that is a critical skill. Availability. This is important. It is critical to make sure that if you are going to be spending a lot of time working with an assistant scoutmaster, that assistant scoutmaster is not planning to leave or retire in 2 years, because you may not be done with your time as scoutmaster, and then when it comes time for you to retire, they're already gone. Okay, so you got to start all over. It's a mess. Okay, so you got to have that availability. And the last one is capability. If you were to disappear for some reason, is there somebody capable of doing your job? Did you leave them keys, information, passwords, that kind of stuff? Did you give them the ability, going back to all of them, to really be capable to do what they need to do for the benefit of the unit. And this is true, all three of these. This is true also with the youth. They need this too. They need to think about this. Now, we've heard this term a lot, multitasking. And it's not what you might think. A lot of people think that you can do several things at the very same time. Science has actually proven that that's not the case. Multitasking is being able to break up many tasks, many different tasks, into many parts, and being able to switch back and forth, one at a time, back and forth to get them all done. So multitasking has been interpreted completely wrong. There's a lot of youth out there that think they can play video games and their homework. They can't. We know that. We as adults know that. And that's true for people driving. They think they can do texting while driving. That's not possible. In many states, it's illegal. So these are things to think about when you think of multitasking. Multitasking is something that a leader needs to have. So it's a skill. Being able to break it up into small parts and being able to do all those parts, juggling back and forth between all the different parts. That is true multitasking. Not trying to do everything all at once, all at the same time. That doesn't happen. And scout leaders need to work with their youth. They need to give them skills, give them the abilities, give them the capabilities, and making sure they have the availability so that they can mentor scouts into becoming youth leaders. So that's a critical thing. And a lot of times you get into that multitasking thing. You have to break it up into little pieces and kind of juggle between them all. Okay, that's just leadership, and you need to teach that skill of being able to do that to other youth and other adults too. So many times we rely on our friends to jump in and take it over. That is not always the best thing. In fact, there's a term called a friend-made enemy. That can happen. So you don't want that to happen because that's not good. We all know that, right? So keep that in mind. Friends are going to help out, but do they have the availability, the capability, and overall the ability to do any of the leadership tasks that you're asking them to do? Hey, before we go any further, I want to make sure that you are invited to come to the live meeting. The live meeting is on the first Sunday of each month at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So please join us. Now, you're going to have to adjust for whatever time zone you're in. But please join us and join in. That's a great way to ask questions, and I'm there to answer them. Also, I want to personally thank all of the patrons on Patreon for their continued financial support. Also, if you would like to become a channel member right here on YouTube, hit the join button and go through that process. It's a great way to help fund what you see here. If you don't want to do a monthly donation, that's fine. We have a thank you button. Just hit the thank you button and make a one-time donation. That is always appreciated. And let's get right back to it. Now, every single leader, adult and youth, needs to have an assistant. That is critical. The assistant bugler, okay? That's it's important. Every position, every single one. Some of them need a team, okay? Like the scoutmasters, okay? All of the assistant scoutmasters and the scoutmaster. They need a team, Okay? I have found that the most successful troops out there have many assistant scoutmasters, and they all do different tasks. They all have specialities that they do, but they're all ready to step up in case something happens with the scoutmaster. That is, it is critical that we always have a plan, a backup plan in place. And this is true for senior patrol leaders. The bigger the troop, the more assistant senior patrollers you're going to need. I've seen units that had up to 3. That's totally okay. They have different departments and different things they do, but all 3 of them are ready to step up to be senior patrol leader. That is the key. And a lot of times, that's where that election process starts, is the assistant. The assistant patrol leader becomes a patrol leader. The patrol leader becomes an assistant senior patrol leader, and so on. It goes through that cycle, okay? So always having multiple backups of different things. And that applies to every position within a unit. With Cub Scouts, it's all adult-led. That's the thing. It's adults and parents. It's all family, and that's how Cub Scouting works. Whereas in a troop environment, it's all youth-led. So you have 2 different realms of leadership, and you're always teaching leadership skills. You're always doing that multitasking stuff, with doing all the different things and having all of the abilities, capabilities, and availabilities. Got to have those things. That's the key. We got to keep that rolling, and with that, you can build a very healthy succession plan for many, many years into the future if you just keep it going. That's the wonderful thing. And we do so much for scouting, we don't want it to fail. We have to have those backups. That's one of those things. And if you don't have a position, I'll tell you what, we need you. And let's try to be realistic. Let's try to keep all the different responsibilities focused. So if you're scout facing, make sure you're doing those positions. If you're backstage, make sure that you're doing those positions. Try to be consistent. It's okay to have more than one, but you want to keep that consistency. Of course, I don't think there's any rules saying you can't have cross-platform, but that's all up to you. And I'm always worried that when you take on too much, when you can't say no, that will run you right into burnout. And that's not good. In fact, there's a video on burnout. Watch that. That is a very important video. But I know you do so much for your scouts, and I'm so proud of you and all the things you do in scouting. Always remember, we are teaching leadership skills, and this is one of them. We're teaching it to tomorrow's leaders, future managers, bosses, directors. That's who we're teaching. So always keep that in mind. We need to teach these skills, and we need to use these skills ourselves. So keep up that good, hard work, and I will see you on the trail.